They sold my mom's house behind my back, without telling me a single word, and laughed when I cried in front of them. They didn't know I was already the anonymous owner of 5 other houses on the same street, and I had one plan: revenge. Before I continue, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this story if you believe karma always finds its way back. What happens next will blow your mind. I was standing in the middle of an empty living room that once smelled like mom's apple pie. Now, it was stripped bare, cold walls, no pictures, no furniture, not even a trace of her laughter. Just silence and betrayal. "I'm sorry, Aria," the real estate agent muttered awkwardly. "The paperwork's already done. Your uncle and cousin signed everything. It's legal." I clenched my jaw. Uncle Jeff and Madison, my cousin. The 2 people who told me I was too emotional when Mom passed. The same people who blocked my number when I asked about the estate. Now, they'd sold the only piece of her I had left, and kept the money. At that moment, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked out, head high, but my heart was on fire. They thought I was still that same broke girl who worked double shifts in retail and shared a studio apartment. What they didn't know was that I had been quietly building a real estate portfolio, using every ounce of pain as fuel. Every time they laughed at me, I bought another house. That neighborhood? Mom's neighborhood? I already owned 5 homes on that street, under different LLC names. And now, I had a new goal: buy every single one. The real shocker? The house Madison was currently living in, she didn't know it yet, but I already owned it, and I wasn't done. Madison was sipping wine on her porch, bragging on Instagram Live about how smart investments run in the family, while sitting on a lawn chair I technically owned. She didn't know the landlord she mailed her rent to every month was me, Aria Holdings LLC. I watched the live stream with a smirk, my thumb hovering over the eviction notice email draft I'd been saving for the perfect moment, but I wasn't ready to strike yet. I wanted everything to fall in place first. Quietly, I started making offers to the remaining neighbors. One by one, they agreed. Some wanted to move, some were in debt, and my cash offers came with no questions asked. By the end of that month, I owned 10 houses on the same street. Mom's street. I didn't even blink when I paid above market rate for the last one. Because this wasn't just business. This was personal, and still, they had no clue. The final blow came disguised as an invitation. Uncle Jeff decided to throw a family block party to show off their successful real estate move and toast Madison's bright financial future. It was supposed to be a celebration of their win, but they were walking straight into my territory. The party was loud. Red cups, fake laughs, cheap champagne. Madison was in heels too high to stand in, and Uncle Jeff was boasting to a group of neighbors who all secretly had new landlords. Me. I waited until halfway through the party, then stepped onto the front lawn of the house they sold without telling me. I was wearing a navy suit, hair pulled back, holding a manila folder in my hand. Uncle Jeff spotted me. His face dropped. "Well, look who finally showed up," he sneered. "You here to cry some more?" The crowd laughed. I smiled. "Actually, I came to give you some news. Something you deserve." I opened the folder and pulled out copies of deeds, each with my name or my LLC printed boldly at the top. "I now own this house," I said, waving at the one behind me. "And that one? And that one? And Madison, the one you live in? That's mine too." The silence was glorious. Then I turned to the crowd. "This entire block belongs to me now." Gasps. Phones came out. Someone whispered, "Is this real?" Uncle Jeff looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. "This is some kind of joke, right?" Madison's wine glass shattered at her feet, but I wasn't done yet. "Tomorrow morning," I said calmly, "your eviction notices go out. You'll have 30 days to vacate. Oh, and Madison? You might want to start looking for a new job too." She blinked. "What are you talking about?" I smiled wider. "Let's just say, your office sits on a piece of land I just bought last week." And that's when she screamed. Madison's scream sliced through the party like a knife. "You can't do this," she shrieked, stumbling down the porch steps in her heels. "This is illegal. You're bluffing." I didn't flinch. I simply turned, nodded at a tall man in a black polo standing near the curb, "My lawyer, Ethan," and he walked forward, holding a tablet. "Not a bluff," he said smoothly. "Every property listed here is now under Aria's ownership or her management company. All transactions were legal, clean, and fully documented. We have the signed deeds, payment receipts, and municipal records to prove it. Uncle Jeff grabbed the tablet like it was a bomb and scrolled furiously, his face draining of color with every swipe. How did you, when did you, he stammered. I finally looked him in the eyes. While you were busy stealing my mother's legacy, I was building mine in silence. You taught me one thing, Uncle Jeff, never show your cards until the table is yours. The neighbors had stopped dancing. The music was off. Phones were still recording, and live streams were now blowing up. Some were whispering my name. Others were Googling me. Then the real twist dropped. Madison marched up to me, her voice trembling. Okay. So what? You have money. You got lucky. We didn't mean to hurt you, Aria, just, things got complicated. I laughed. Complicated? You forged my signature on those original estate documents, remember? You left me out of the will entirely and claimed I ran away from family. But guess what? That forged will? It's being reopened. Ethan nodded. We filed this morning. Evidence of fraud, misappropriation, and financial abuse of a vulnerable family member. Court date set. Uncle Jeff looked like he might faint. You're ruining your family over what, some houses? No, I said, my voice calm but cutting. You ruined this family over greed. I'm just cleaning up your mess. I turned to leave. But I paused and looked over my shoulder. Oh, and by the way? I didn't just buy the neighborhood. I renamed it Maria Lane. After my mother. Gasps rippled through the crowd. As I walked back to my car, Madison chased after me. Aria, wait, just talk to me, please. I stopped. Slowly turned. Talk? I said. Did you talk to me before selling Mom's house? Did you talk to me when you blocked me from the will? Or when you mocked me at her funeral? Her lips quivered. I was just scared you'd get everything. You were right to be scared, I said coldly, and then I got into the car and drove off, leaving behind a broken family, shattered egos, and the street I now ruled. But this wasn't the end, because one more secret was about to explode, and it would change everything. The next morning, the story was everywhere. Woman buys entire neighborhood after family betrayal. Aria James turns tables on greedy relatives in viral revenge move. Justice served. Daughter honors mother with power move. News outlets were calling me non-stop. I ignored most of them, until one caught my eye. Lily Harper, a rising journalist. And one of Mom's favorite reporters. She had reached out with a simple message. I knew your mother. I'd like to help you tell your story, the right way. Something about it felt different. I agreed to meet. We sat in the coffee shop Mom used to take me to on Saturdays. Lily didn't ask for headlines. She asked about Mom, the woman who baked cookies for the neighbors, who read poetry aloud, who worked double shifts as a nurse after Dad left us. I told her everything, and then Lily leaned in. I have something to show you, she whispered. I came across it during another investigation. She slid a brown envelope across the table. Inside were photos, financial documents, and a timeline. I scanned the first page and froze. A secret trust, opened in my mother's name, managed quietly by Uncle Jeff, worth $2.80 million. He's been draining it slowly for years, Lily said. Softly. Your mom set it up after her second surgery. She wanted to leave you something, but Jeff rerouted the funds before she passed. This was supposed to be yours, Aria. I felt the world tilt beneath me. He hadn't just sold my memories. He'd stolen my future. I stood up without a word. My fingers trembled, not with fear, but fury. Back in my apartment, I called Ethan. We're adding financial theft to the lawsuit. And I want everything. Every account, every transfer, every lie. Ethan didn't hesitate. Already working on it. But there's more. Madison just got fired. What? She posted a rant online, calling you names, denying everything, calling it a smear campaign. Her company didn't like the attention. They let her go this morning. I should have felt vindicated, but instead, I felt empty because, deep down, I knew there was still one piece of the puzzle I hadn't touched. Mom's last letter. I remembered the envelope she gave me at the hospital before her voice got too weak to speak. I had locked it away, afraid of the pain, and now, I needed it. I opened the safe and pulled out the letter. Her handwriting was shaky but clear. Aria, if they betray you, don't become like them. Build something bigger. Not just with money, but with heart. Protect what we built. And remember, you were never alone. Tears blurred my vision. I'd spent years chasing revenge, and I got it. But what Mom wanted was legacy. That night, I drafted a new plan, not just lawsuits. Not just payback. I was going to build something permanent, in her name. A women's shelter. A scholarship fund. A housing nonprofit, and the first building? Would be constructed right where Madison's old house stood. But before I could start, Ethan called again. You might want to sit down. What now? I asked. He exhaled. There's a hidden clause in the trust. Your mom's house, the one they sold? It was never legally transferable. Jeff forged more than your signature. The sale was invalid. You still own the house, Aria. My hands went cold. That means, I whispered, that means Jeff committed full-blown fraud. We can press criminal charges. And just like that, everything shifted. A week later, I walked through the front door of Mom's house, my house, with keys in hand and cameras flashing behind me, but this time, it wasn't about revenge. It was about redemption. The fraudulent sale had been reversed. The forged documents? Now in the hands of a criminal investigator. Uncle Jeff had been arrested on charges of financial fraud, document forgery, and theft of trust assets. Madison? She'd gone silent, deleted her socials, changed her number, and disappeared from the neighborhood completely. I didn't chase her, because I had work to do. I began renovations immediately, restoring the chipped porch swing, repainting the walls in Mom's favorite light blue, even rehanging the wind chime she loved so much. But the biggest change? The sign outside Maria House, a safe place for women starting over, free housing, skill training, counseling, support. The same house that had once been stolen from me would now be a sanctuary for those who had nowhere to go. And the neighborhood? I turned it into a community project, rent-controlled homes for single mothers, domestic abuse survivors, and young women aging out of foster care. I brought in local artists to paint murals. I hired women-owned businesses for the work. In 6 months, Maria Lane wasn't just a name on a street, it was a movement. At the grand reopening, I stood on the front steps of the house they once kicked me out of, surrounded by press, neighbors, and dozens of women who were about to start new chapters of their lives. I was betrayed by my own blood, I said into the microphone. But I chose not to repeat the cycle. Instead, I turned that betrayal into something beautiful. This neighborhood isn't about what was taken from me. It's about what I built in spite of it. The crowd erupted in applause. Lily's article was released that same day, titled, "The Girl They Tried to Silence Now Owns the Block, and She's Giving It Back to Those Who Need It Most." It went viral, millions read it. Thousands reached out. Donations poured in. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Later that evening, I sat in Mom's old bedroom, now converted into my office. I lit the candle she used to keep by the window, opened her photo album, and whispered, "We did it." And I swear, for just a moment, I felt a warm breeze pass through the room, like she was still with me. They sold my mom's house behind my back. So I bought the whole neighborhood. Then I turned it into a legacy they could never take away. Justice wasn't just served, it was reborn.